personnel needs a second N. And suddenly the B gets more interesting, because Eliza is spelling all the words right, so that when Miss Bergermeyer gives Eliza raspberry, she stands a little straighter, proudly including the P before moving on to the B-E-R-R-Y. By the time Bergermeyer has worked her way through the class to the end of the first round, Eliza is one of the few left standing. 3 years before Eliza's first brush with competitive spelling, she is a second grader in Ms. Ladowski's class, a room that is baby animal poster free. Eliza's school universe is still an unvariegated whole. The wheat has yet to be culled from the chaff and given nicer desks. There is only one curriculum, one kind of student, one handwriting worksheet occupying every desk in Eliza's class. Though some students finish faster than others, Eliza doesn't notice this, couldn't tell if asked where she falls within the worksheet completion continuum. Eliza is having a hard time with cursive capital Q, which does not look Q-like at all. She is also distracted by the fact that people have been getting called out of the classroom all morning, and that it doesn't seem to be for something bad. For one thing, the list is alphabetical. Jared Montgomery has just been called, which means that if Eliza's name is going to be called, it has got to be soon. The day has become an interminable duck-duck-goose game in which she has only one chance to be picked. She senses it is very important that this happen, has felt this certainty in her stomach since Ladowski started on K. Eliza assures herself that as soon as she gets called out, her stomach will stop churning, she will stop sweating, and cursive capital Q will start looking like a letter instead of like the number 2. Ms. Ladowski knows that second grade is a very special time. Under her discerning eye, these small lumps of clay that are her students are pressed into the first mold of their young lives. A lapsed classics graduate student, Ms. Ladowski is thrilled that her teaching career has cast her in the role of the fates. Though she couldn't have known it at the time, her abbreviated classical pursuits equipped her for her life's calling as overseer of McKinley Elementary's Talented and Gifted, or TAG, placement program. Ms. Ladowski's home, shared with a canary named Minerva, is filled with photo albums in which she has tracked her TAG students through high school honors and into college. In a few more years, the first of her former charges will fulfill destinies shaped by her guiding hand. Ms. Ladowski prides herself upon her powers of discernment. She considers class participation, homework, and test performance, as well as general personality and behavior in separating superior students from merely satisfactory ones. The night before the big day, she goes down her class roster with a red pencil. As she circles each name, her voice whispers, "Tag, you're it," with childlike glee. Stephen Sills spells weird with the I before the E. Eliza spells it with the E before the I and is the last left standing. As she surveys the tops of the heads of her seated classmates, she thinks, so this is what it's like to be tall. She gets to miss 5th period math. Under Dr. Morris's watchful eye, she files into the school cafeteria with the winners from the other classes and takes her place in a plastic bucket seat. The seats are shaped in such a way as to promote loss of circulation after more than 10 minutes. 2 holes in each chair press circles into the flesh of each small backside, leaving marks long after the sitter has risen. Each chair has uneven legs, the row stretching across the stage like a hobbled centipede. Through the windows on the left wall, buses arrive with the PM kindergartners. In the kitchen, hundreds of lunch trays are being washed. From behind the closed kitchen comes the soothing sound of summer rain. Eliza feels a sudden pang of guilt for having left a lump of powdered mashed potato in the oval indentation of her tray instead of scraping it into the trash, worries that the water won't be strong enough to overcome her lunchtime inertia. Dr. Morris is the kind of principal who stands outside his office to say goodbye to students by name as they scramble to their buses. Administering the school spelling bee allows him the great pleasure of observing his best and brightest. The children before him are the ones whose names adorn the honor roll. They are names teachers track long after having taught them in order to say, "This one was my favorite," or "I always knew this one would go far." Eliza is the exception to this rule. When Dr. Morris spots her in the group, he is reminded of something he can't quite place. At his puzzled smile, she blushes and looks away. The meeting between Dr. Morris and Eliza's father that Dr. Morris can't quite remember occurs on Parents' Night, 1 month after Ms. Ladowski goes from Kathy Myers to John Nervish, skipping Eliza. Saul Naumann only learns of his daughter's exclusion through one of his congregants who, after Shabbat services, announces loudly enough for the people on the other side of the cookie table to overhear that her son has been identified as talented and gifted. Saul realizes that the boy is in Eliza's class. Eliza hasn't tendered Saul the congratulatory note Aaron delivered at her age, the one that made Saul feel like a sweepstakes winner. Saul's is one of many hands Dr. Morris shakes at Parents' Night. Dr. Morris's office contains a desk with a framed picture of his daughter, 2 squeaky chairs, and a window that looks out onto the school playground. On a small bookshelf, binders of county educational code bookend with instructional paperbacks devoted to several categories of child, including special needs, precocious, problem, and hyperactive. Dr. Morris keeps mimeographed pages from these books on hand to distribute to the parentally challenged. "Hello, Mr. Naumann. It's a pleasure to see you here tonight." Dr. Morris remembers the son, smart, awkward, too quiet for his own good. While he knows the daughter's face, he can't attach words to the picture. He scans her file, hoping for help and finding nothing. "Eliza is a lovely child." "Thank you. We think she's pretty special, which is why I was a little surprised when I learned that she hadn't been tag-tested with the rest of her class." Morris manages a polite smile. Every year there is at least one like Mr. Naumann. "Well, Mr. Naumann, that's a bit of an exaggeration. Only a portion of the second grade is tested, the fraction of the class Miss Ladowski feels may benefit from an accelerated curriculum." "The smarter ones?" "There are a lot of different kinds of smarts, Mr. Naumann. A lot of ways for a child to be special." Dr. Morris addresses that last part to the picture on his desk. It's too bad Saul can't see this picture from where he's standing. If he could see it, he might conclude that this is a somewhat sensitive topic for Dr. Morris. The only people who generally get to see Rebecca Morris's picture are the students Dr. Morris catches using the word retard. He escorts these students to his office, where they are shown the picture and ordered to repeat the word, this time to his daughter's face. "Of course there are a lot of ways to be special," Saul continues, no way to know that he really shouldn't. "But my older son was placed in the TAG program, and I just thought that—" Dr. Morris's face has grown red. "Instead of focusing on what you think you lack, Mr. Naumann, why don't you appreciate what you have? Eliza is a caring, loving child." "Of course she is. That's not the issue." Dr. Morris pictures Rebecca walking unsteadily to the van that comes for her each morning, the beatific smile that fills her face at the sight of any animal, and her pleasure at a yellow apple cut into bite-sized pieces. He wants Mr. Naumann to get the hell out of his office. So sorry, Mr. Naumann, but our time is up. I would